Okay, everybody. Hi, everybody. How are you guys? Welcome to my studio, Phantom Studio. Welcome to the Fractal Saturday Live, as usual. Every week's at this time. Don't forget to fix this appointment for to avoid to lose this important tutorial. Please subscribe to the channel and click on the bell on my channel and also on G66 channel. Okay, because we are streaming in both channels. So don't forget to subscribe one and other one. First of all, thank you so much to be here. No, I don't want to explain how I can create this sound. I can give you some hints regarding this. This sound is incredible. There is no special trick. The trick is very simple. This sound is created by this pedal I'm testing now. It's a very nice pedal from Electromonics. It is a string ensemble S9. Okay. You know, Fractal Audio has, I think, the widest range of effects. We have I don't know. I never count how many effects you can do with Fractal Audio. There are some effects that is not possible to do for physical reasons, for special reasons, and so on. And sometimes you need to implement on your Fractal Audio some external effect. Maybe could be a special drive, for example. About the drive, I never think to implement a new drive, because the drive's range of Fractal is incredible, but also for the reverbs, for some other effect. But if you like that special drive because it's made with the special components, electronic and so on, because you have the super boutique drive, super boutique clone Centaur, that okay, there is some mystic in that drive and you want to use on Fractal. This is really simple, and this is really fantastic, because when you include this drive, this Stompbox, this effect into Fractal, you have the benefit of Fractal and also the benefit to handle this effect as you want in the digital chain. So you can modify, you can place when you want, where you want. You can do a lot of things that is not possible with the analog rig. This is not, because in the analog rig you can only connect the pedal, power in, that's it. You cannot do anything else. With Fractal, you can decide where to place your external effect in the rig chain, and also you can create different preset where the effect is before the distortion, for example, it is after the distortion, and so on. And so this is really, really important. Okay. I think the 99% of the case is not necessary to implement, but like in this case, for very special pedals like guitar synth, something really special, maybe you could maybe could be interesting to implement this drive. This is the case of the Electromonic S9. Maybe I will find a way to reproduce the same sound with Fractal. I'm working on it. Okay, I don't want to be a loser. I want to get the challenge, and I wanted to try. But sometimes it's much more easy. Okay, this pedal is really nice. It works very well. So buy it and use it. Okay, let's go immediately to the editor and let's see where is placed this pedal. First of all, you have to create the loop. As you can see here, the loop means that you are in the rig chain. Okay, this is the input compression. So this is the typical rig that I explain in every tutorial. This is my last one. The Atomic Jensen is very nice, also because there is new Jensen input response I created. Okay, it is really, really nice. and you can find, of course, on my store. And I found very fine to implement this pedal. How I can do this? I use the output and input. Now I'm working with Fractal FM9, but you can do this also on FM3, okay, and of course on FX3, okay, because any fractal unit has more than one single input, because the main input, okay, is the input 1 and the main output is input 2, but at least on a Fractal FM3 you have two, the second output and second input, and with this output and input you can create, first of all, the four cables methods to implement the FM3 or the fractal unit as a multi-effects for your amp. Of course, I already explained. If you never seen my tutorial, please find it on my YouTube channel. Type Phantom 4 cable method. It's very, very easy on the YouTube search, or you can access to my playlist, tutorial English playlist. So, okay. Input 1 and input 2 and output 1 is okay. We have the second one. On the second one, we can use for different things. Of course, you can connect external cabinet, you can connect external amp, but also you can connect a Stompbox and effects. How you can do this with this method? So you have to imagine that your signal path go to the output 3. Hi guys. Output 3, then go out with the cables, then come back in the input 2. That's great. One important thing is how to set up this output and input, because this is really important. Consider that in this case, with the Stompbox. Stompbox works typically with the guitar signal, so means that you need to work with the unit gain signal. So there is no any amplification. To do this, it is necessary to go to the setup. Okay, and on setup, you go to the audio page, and you have to set up your input and output used for the Stompbox. In my case, of course, I can use input 2 or input 3. Doesn't matter, is the same. I use input 2 because the effect is only mono effect. I use only input 2, only the left only channel. And this is the reason that I select ampli. You can, of course, use a stereo effect. Why not? For example, if you want to add special chorus and special stereo effects, you can use also. In case of stereo, you have to select stereo. But if you have only one effect with mono signal, you have to select left if you use the left, or right if you use the right. It's up to you. Doesn't matter if you use left or right. The important thing is that you set up your unit to the correct input. Okay. In my case, I connected the output of the effects. So the output of this effect, okay, goes to the input 2. Okay, this is the connection. Nothing else. This is a simple cable, nothing else. And on the input, I connected the output 3, and now it is really important to set up the output 3 with the unit gain signal. Typically, this is already done on the output 3 on FM9. Okay, as you can see, there is no plus dB or, sorry, I switch off. Okay, typically on output 1 and output 2, you have to set up the output level plus 4 dB or minus 10 dB. Okay, and you tweak the amount of signal with the output knobs. I suggest you to strongly suggest for this use to use the output tree, because output tree is already prepared and is already made for the unit gain. In fact, you cannot select anything about the signal level. You have only the possibility to place a pad. Pad is a, let's say, is a parameter that you can select if you have some noise. It is an impedance attenuation for some different use. Typically, with a Stomp pedal, you can leave this parameter to 0. Try to select 6 dB or 12 dB. You can hear less noise, typically, until you select, for example, the 18 dB. With 18 dB, the signal started to goes down. So I suggest you to start from 0 dB, then try to 6 dB. The amount of signal should remain the same, but the noise should be down, because there is an impedance adaptation of the signal. Okay. In case of FM3, you have to select here the unit gain output. Okay. Because I'm working with a Stompbox effect. If I'm working with professional effects, like a rack effect, like an Eventide H3000, for example, or something, the Lexicon PCM 17, 19, and so on, that you have the possibility to set up the input and the output of the single effect, you can also work with different output. But in case of Stompbox, you have not this possibility. You connect the cable and you have no input and output level, because typically the Stompbox works with the unit gain. So that means there is no attenuation, no amplification. The signal is 1 by 1. That's it, nothing else. Okay. The rest of the parameter, normal phase is the phase is normal, and copy input has to be left off. Okay, this is the most important parameter you have to set up before to connect the effects. Of course, you can do the same on input 3 if you wanted to. There is no special reason to use input 2. It's up to you. It depends if you already use the input 2 for another guitar, for acoustic guitar, or so on. It's okay. On FM3, you have only 2 inputs at the end. So you have to adapt this method to your unit, depending on if you have FM3, FM9, or AXFX3. Okay. Then let's go to the rig. On the rig, you can see the output 3, okay, and the input 1. When I enable the input 1, I get the signal from the input 2. From the input 2, that means from the output of the effect. I can show you. So let the output 3 always enable. You can also disable, but doesn't matter. Doesn't work. Okay, if I switch off the input 2, this is the scene and the sound that I have usually with this preset. I can also switch off the. No, you have to let enable the output 3, otherwise the signal is interrupted. Okay. When you switch on the input 2, now I switched off the pedal. I can show you. Let me 1 minute that I show both. Okay. Okay, so you can see both image. So now the pedal is switched off, but the loop is enabled. Enable and disable is due to the input to status. And of course, the status of input 2, it's absolutely up to you. You can decide, like in my case, I show you, I assign the input 2 bypass to a foot switch number 6, as you can see, effect bypass input 2, because also the input are effects. So you can decide to switch on and switch off. So as you can see, I can, with my foot switch, very easy. Exactly like a Stompbox. So I can decide when switch on and off. And also I can assign the status of the input-output with the effect. For example, I have the scene with the effects in, and the other scene is off. Yeah. Now, it is really important to define where to place this loop, because now I place the loop, this loop after the amplifier, the amp block, means after the distortion. And this is really important because you have to consider the loop depending of the effect topology. If you have, for example, effect like overdrive is better to place before the amp. If you have chorus, reverbs, delay, as I do with the fractal block, I have to place that block just after, in the same place that I place the standard blocks. Okay. In case of this effect, that is a really special effect, it is synth, it could be, let's say, difficult to understand. But as I told you, it's not difficult. It's only a matter of to try it and to shift the connection into the rig. You can do simply drag and drop the block before the amp. You have to drag both blocks, the output and the input. Okay, and now I simply place this effect before the amp, and I can hear the effect that is completely different. Okay, when in this case is not good. Because if I use the distortion signal and I use the effect before the amp, the result is, to me, is not good. It's, of course, it is up to you. This is a creative effect, so it's difficult to say what is right, what is wrong. This is very bad. In case of overdrive, this is the right place to make the loop. Okay, for such effect, is absolutely better to place after the end block, and in this case also before the delay, because if I do the same and I place the effect here, I have another result. So the modulation, the delay, and reverbs goes to the effect. And I remember you that this effect is mono, so I can show easily how does happen. Just a moment. Okay, let's imagine to place. Okay, the effect at the end of the chain, and so we can evaluate the result. The sound is worse. Why? Because this effect is mono. Okay, it is also a filter, and all stereo wide ambient effects I create in this rig are converted in a mono. This is the problem. Okay. Remember, in this case, I have a mono Stompbox. If I have a stereo Stompbox, it's up to you. I recommend, in any case, to place the effect in the proper way. So I usually place the reverb as a last effect, the plex verb as before the reverb, then there is delay, then there is the pitch, and so on. This is the order that I like, but of course you can do what you want. Okay, so in this case, I also get the advantage because I can switch everything. This effect alone, okay, is nice, but not so nice because it is a mono effect. You can. But I can add the pitch. Plex verb. And also the dubbing. I already explained you what is this this delay. It is a very short delay to create the dubbing effect. And what is nice is that I can record what I do on the looper if I have the space to put the looper, so I can create a. Okay. If I put the looper here, this is very bad. I usually put the looper just before the reverb. And then I can change everything before the looper, because the looper is the last block, not just the last, just before the reverb, but So, with this effect, also with the looper, you can enjoy a lot. You can create some very creative stuff that you can place over, and you can extend the possibility of your fractal unit. It is really, really, really incredible. I love it. And of course, you can also add, for example, the VP4. If you want extra effects, you can add the VP4. VP4 multi effects. You can add other kind of effects. Okay, thank you so much, Atomic P5150. Okay, guys. If you have any questions, you can place the question below the video, sorry. And even on the G66 channel, I thanks a lot to G66 for the great partnership I have. And the Atomic Jensen preset is available on my store as usual. I recommend you to subscribe to my YouTube channel and click on the bell to receive the notification. So thank you so much for your attention. And I play something with this this incredible effect. So I enjoy a lot. So if you have some other question, you can put in the meantime. Okay, yeah. So